Hello, dear friends. Welcome to OLT 321, European Literature. My name is Warren Reed.
Hooray!
Thank you. And this is Lecture 9 on Dostoyevsky's novels The Double and Notes from Underground.
Yes!
So first, we're going to talk about basically The Double and Notes from Underground. Two topics. Bam, bam, just like that. For The Double, you need to think about the social masks that we tend to have. We have our mask at work. There's a person that we are, inside our inner self, and then the social self, the outside self. And sometimes we have one, here with our family we have one mask, and here with our friends we're something else, and at work another thing altogether. So this novel explores the issue that what if there's a conflict between the inner self and the outer self. Okay, so in the novel we have this Golyadkin has a conflict between his inner and outer self, and it causes a split in his personality. It's made more worse because his status in society and at work it's not well defined. His inner self has high moral standards, but his social self is like a yes man. He's going to do anything or try anything just to get ahead. And they don't match. They're just opposites. His two sides conflict, and he's alienated, which means he's cut off from a part of himself. His doctor tells him to socialize, and in fact that's what he's trying to do, but it's not in him to socialize. He doesn't like to be fake. He doesn't like to make fake congratulations and say nice things just to be nice. He's actually very open and honest. He doesn't like duplicity, fake, lies or fake things. But in society, you kind of have to, I suppose, have that a little bit. You don't just say, oh, no, I hate those shoes. Yes, you look fat in that shirt. No, you kind of have to, butter things over a little, don't you? So anyway, the doctor tells him to socialize, be around people, because he does keep to himself. He stays at home. He doesn't socialize, and oftentimes we have some problems because we're cut off. We're social people. We're a kind of creature that lives and thrives in society. So it's kind of against nature in a way to just be shut off all the time. So the doctor advises him to get out. So he gets out and he goes to a party, but they won't let him in because he wasn't invited. And so this makes him angry, and it causes a split, and then he starts seeing himself. He sees his double, his doppelganger, wandering around. And even other people claim to have seen another Golyadkin. His alienation then maybe is caused by society, maybe a little bit by himself. He ends up in hospital, and then we see that he really is sick, mentally ill. And then we can wonder, was there really another Golyadkin, someone who looks like him? Or is it just his own projection of himself? As he claims someone was out to get him, and even thinks his other self is trying to bring him down, take over. If this story, you should read it, and if it's interesting and you want more of this kind of thing, there's a film called Fight Club, which is very interesting and explores the same idea as someone with a psychological break. Okay, we've gotten out of the sun a little bit to talk about Notes from Underground. The only problem is we really need snow. Maybe I can put some snow. There we go. Notes from Underground is the story of a retired civil servant. He's living alone, he's isolated, he doesn't even have a name. So, having studied already The Double, we can see that this guy is going to have some kind of psychological issues, isn't it? The first part of the book is a kind of monologue on various topics, and it seems as the first part is a kind of monologue on many kinds of topics, but what's important noted in the course material is that the narrator says it's been snowing for several days. Okay. This reminds me of another time when it was snowing, and he begins a story of that, and that's the rest of the novel. This character, he's fed up with society, and he wants revenge. But revenge is also kind of immoral and seems like a waste of time anyway. Like, I wouldn't be satisfying. So he's frustrated. And his problem really is that he wants to feel important. He wants to feel as if he exists. We all want that. We don't like people not to even see us. Remember, well, if you haven't taken African American literature 322, there's a novel called Invisible Man, and it's about invisibility, social invisibility. And this character is struggling with the same thing. So, there's an officer who bumps into him because he didn't see him, okay, and this just confirms his feeling that I don't exist, people don't even see me. So he wants to kind of get revenge on the officer and make him see that he exists, take him into consideration. So he plans. It's even a number of years before he gets this satisfaction, and even when he gets this revenge, the officer doesn't even change. Like he doesn't even care, So he gets his dignity restored as he sees it. But then in the end, nothing has changed. This represents, in a way, when people, they stand up against big government, whatever kind of big government it is, and perhaps they win. They win their case. But what happens? Does the government change? No. Once they've dealt with their little problem, they continue on their way it was before. So it may be a big victory to the person, but the loss is very insignificant to the big government or the big power, whatever it is. There's a similar encounter with a group of young men who he went to school with, and they invite him to a party or to a bar, and they tell him it's at 5. And then he goes at 5, and they don't show up for an hour later because they changed the time, but they didn't tell him. Now this also reconfirms this feeling of not existing, of people not caring. So, he argues with them, and then they leave without him. He's an alienated, unaccommodated man. And these kind of issues come up more in modernism after World War I. Consider again also, I mentioned Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. And one message is that, from the Invisible Man, is that you have to make your own identity, and then you have to stand up for it. You have to fight for it. And that's a problem with these characters. Perhaps they are fighting for it, but no one cares, no one notices. And in that situation, when there's a total resistance to your existence, then what do? Then you have a big problem. And these cause, with these characters, psychological breaks. That's it for me, Lecture 9, the double. Notes from Underground, those are my notes from Underground. I'm not quite underground, but I'm pretty close. It's time for me to get a glass of water. You guys have a cup of tea, mandazi. See you in Lecture 10 when we talk about Tolstoy.
Ooh.